let me show you. Okay. Folded planes means what? Suppose you are having a notebook and you are holding like this. Okay. We are having the notebook like this. Okay, folded planes. This is one plane, second one. Okay, the planes like this, right? So if I want to find out the for this point, if I want to find out the proper patch, what will happen for this point? Suppose if I am able to find out a proper patch for this point, so what will happen for this point? Suppose here will be the patch. Okay, let us assume. Okay, proper patch means what? Let us assume that for this, first we will find out the neighborhood. Okay, so let us assume this is a neighborhood. Okay, for this neighborhood, this will not be contained in your M, that is a geometric object. Why this is not contained in M? Because if you can see here, for this point, if I am able to find out a neighborhood, this will not be contained in a surface M. Okay, so obviously there is no meaning of having this because if what is a definition? Because for every point P of a surface M, there should exist a proper patch whose image contains a neighborhood of a point P. So obviously this neighborhood is going outside the surface M. So how you are going to show whether it is a whether it will satisfy the condition of that neighborhood is contained in a proper patch. Okay. So for every point on this on this line, that is, if you are having these two folded plane, for every point on this line, you can see that this will not satisfy the condition of having a proper patch. Why it is not satisfying? Because for if you are having any smaller neighborhood, however smaller, if you take, this will be obviously outside the object M. Okay. In the very similar way, suppose you are having a disk and this on the disk these corner point. Suppose I want to find out the neighborhood. If I found the smaller neighborhood, obviously this, however smaller neighborhood if you are taking, it will be outside the object N. Okay, now here we will assume this as a geometric object and then we'll verify whether this is a surface or not. Okay, so likewise, you can assume that the example of this will be also one disk. So for this disk, uh, let us take the points on the boundary. So at every point on the boundary, you can find out the neighborhood, but this will not be contained in your M. Okay. So these are the examples of what? Not a surface. And after that, we have seen how to verify with the help of dg not equal to 0. What is given to us? We are provided with g. Let us have this example. So this is a theorem which shows that if with the help of dg not equal to 0, we can verify whether the given object is a surface or not. That we have seen already in the last lecture, and one example we have seen. What was the example? Sphere with a center at C1, C2, C3 and radius is R, and we have shown that this is a surface. Okay, how to show this? First we have to verify whether dg is equal to 0 or not equal to 0. For that, first you have to find out dg. Okay, after finding dg, that means we have to find out dou g by dou x, dou g by dou y, dou g by dou z, and then check whether they are after putting that point. Now here we have got the point x1, x2, x3 if it is equal to c1, c2, c3. Then the whatever we are getting dg will be equal to 0. But this is not possible because this is a center. Okay, as it is a center. So if it is equal, these two are equal, it means that it is not a sphere. It is simply one point. Okay, at this point, wherever we are getting dg equal to 0, at that point will coincide with your center of the sphere. If it is coinciding with center of the sphere, it means that this is only single point, this is not a sphere. So hence we can say that dg is not equal to 0 for every point on the sphere. Yes, everyone able to see the screen and able to hear me? Hello?
Ma'am, I'm able to hear you, but your PDF you haven't opened, ma'am.
Wait me. Is it visible now?
No, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Now it is visible.
What we were discussing that what is a definition of a surface. What is the definition of a surface? For every point P of a E3 space, that means first we have to take one object which is a subset of a E3 space. For every point P of a E3 space, there should exist a proper patch whose image contains a neighborhood of a point. And this definition is somewhat difficult to verify for every example. For that, we have taken one shortcut. What is the shortcut for that? We have taken one theorem. What the theorem tells us that if you verify dg is equal to 0 or not equal to 0, will directly tell you that whether the given object is a surface or not. Okay. To verify this, what we have to do, dg is equals to, first we have to find out dou g by dou x, dou g by dou y, dou g by dou z. And these will, this dg equal to 0 only if all these partial derivatives are equal to 0. Right now, if all those partial derivatives are equal to 0, then only this dg equal to 0. But these all partial derivative will not be equal to 0 simultaneously. Why this is so? Because it is given that dg is not equal to 0. So at least one of them is not equal to 0. So we'll assume that dou g by dou z is not equal to 0, which means that by implicit function theorem, we can write down this function g in terms of z. Okay, and hence we can have for every point u and v, we can have uv h of uv, that is third coordinate. Whatever we are getting will be in terms of first two coordinates. Like this in the figure, we can say or any point p1 p2, what will be the image? The first 2 points will be the same p1 p2, but there will be change in the third coordinate. That will be the combination of first two, and that will verify that this is nothing but the Munge patch. As it is a Munge patch, obviously it will be the proper patch. What is a Munge patch? It is nothing but it is written as if x is a mapping from E2 to a surface M, x of uv is equal to uv f of uv. That means the third coordinate or the third variable, whatever we are having, it is in terms of first two. So hence, now let us go for one or two non-examples of the surface. Okay, what are those non-examples of the surface are? We have studied those are folded planes, and the next one is a disk. And one example we have taken is of a cone. What is that? Because for that point of the cone, we cannot find out the one neighborhood which is entirely contained in your proper patch. These are the things which we have seen in the last lecture. Now let us go for the next. Let me show you what is the question. Everyone able to see the question? Hello.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
ma'am.
So what is given? Show that a surface obtained by rotating a curve is a surface. Okay, what is given to us? We are having one curve. Okay, so this is f of xy is equal to c is a one curve given to us. So we have to revolve this around the fixed axis, x-axis. So whatever the object we are getting, we have to show that it is a surface of revolution. Okay. So how to show it is surface of revolution? Because we have a fixed axis. Okay, this is the axis of revolution and this is a profile curve. Okay, the profile curve means what? This is a curve which is revolving about a fixed axis. Okay, so let me show you how this will be a surface. Okay, what we have first? This is x, y, and z. Okay, first we'll draw the 3D space. Okay, what we have? We have a curve in xy plane. Okay, we have a one curve in xy plane. How to find out surface of revolution? We have studied what is the surface of revolution. We must have one fixed axis, one profile curve. Okay, this profile curve must revolve about the fixed axis without touching it. If it touches, this is not a surface of revolution. Like the example of a sphere, we are having this axis, and this is profile curve is nothing but the half circle. So after revolving this half circle is revolving. So whatever the object we are getting is a sphere. Okay, but this touches the axis of revolution at 2 points that are called the singular points. What are those? These are parallels and these are meridians, and these 2 points are the singular point where your axis touches your curve. Okay. So here we have one profile curve in xy plane. Now we have to revolve this profile curve around the x-axis. Okay, whatever the object we are getting, we have to find out whether this is a surface or and the surface of revolution. Okay, so let us start. Now I hope you remember we have done this already in the classical mechanics. So whatever the object I am getting, this is the object. Okay. So now we have to first find out what are the points on the surface. How to write down the points on the surface, right? Because initially we know only the curve f of xy is equals to c is a curve given to us. Okay. Now whatever the points on the curve we know because this is a given thing to us that this is a any curve in a xy plane. Now, if I am saying that this is a curve in xy plane, after revolving, suppose if you go to this point, so this point will have three coordinate x, y, and z. So first we have to find out what are the coordinates on the whatever the 3D object we are getting because it's still we haven't verified whether it is a surface or not. Okay, no doubt this is a surface of revolution because it does not touches the axis of revolution at any point. So it is a surface of revolution. But here we know only the points on the curve. Now we have to verify what are the points on the surface. With the help of having the points on the surface, we'll write down what is the equation of this new geometric object. After writing the equation of a new geometric object, then we'll verify whether dg is equal to 0 or not equal to 0. Have you understood this part? Yes, anyone can answer. What we have to do, first we are provided with one curve. We have to verify whether whatever the surface of revolution we are obtaining will be a surface or not. For that, what we are provided with one equation of a curve. Okay. Next, if I want to find out whether this is a surface, first we should know what is the equation of this geometric object. To find out the equation of this geometric object, we must know if we are adding any point on this object on 3D space, I must know what are the coordinates. To find out the coordinates, we must know what is the z coordinate because initially we know only the curve is in the xy plane. Okay. Is there any doubt for this?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Let us go how to find out the point on the surface. Now, if this is a point on the curve, corresponding we have to find out a point on the surface, right? So let us think that we are having. Okay, suppose this is a point on the curve. Let me name this point on the curve as Q, capital Q. After revolution, it will come at some point capital P, right? It will travel like this, no? Suppose this is your x-axis and here we have a profile curve. So this profile curve will revolve about a axis. So if suppose this is a point, right? So if this is a point, this point on the curve after revolution around the axis, it will sweeps out a circle, right? Have you understood this? We are having this is x-axis and this is a profile curve, and I am taking only a single point on the profile curve. If I am taking a single point on the profile curve, so I just want to revolve this around the axis of revolution or the x-axis. So whatever object I am getting is a circle, right? So here I am getting the circle. So here I am showing this with the dotted line. Here I am getting a circle. So let us name this. So here it will have some radius. What is the radius? So the radius will be as it is a point Q with the say coordinate Q1 and Q2. So what is Q1? So this whatever the distance we have covered will be Q1, and this part will be Q2. Okay, x and y axis. Okay. So what will be the radius of this circle which we have revolved around the x-axis is a Q2. That is a radius. This distance of this circle from our origin with the in the x direction is a Q1, right? So these two things we have verified. Okay, this is a point Q on the curve. After revolution, it will come to a point P. And what is the radius? Radius is Q2, which is nothing but our second coordinate of a point Q on the curve. And what is Q1? Q1 is a distance of that point or the circle from our origin in the direction of a x-axis. I hope everyone understood this. These are the 2 points Q1 and Q2, and this point Q, after revolving around the x-axis, it will go to some point P with some coordinate. Now instead of having only Q two coordinate as it is, it will have 3 coordinate, that is P1, P2 and P3, right? Because now we are assuming that whatever the curve we are having, it will revolve around the x-axis and it will sweeps out a one 3D object. Now we don't know whether it is a surface or not. As no doubt the example is to show that obviously it should be a surface. So we have to find out what are the coordinates of a point P. Okay, initially we know the coordinates of Q, that is Q1, Q2. Now we have to find out the coordinates of a point P. And if we are able to find out the coordinates of a point P, then we can find out what will be the equation of that surface, right? So let us start. What will be the for that, let me have what is this circle. If I want to find out the equation of a circle, what is this circle? It will be just parallel to our yz plane. So let me take this is parallel to our yz plane. What will be the equation of a circle in yz plane? Y square plus z square. So what is the radius is Q2 square. Correct? As this is a circle parallel to yz plane, we cannot write down the equation of a circle here. So it is somewhere in x, y as well as in xz. So I will take this is a parallel to our yz plane, as it is a circle parallel to yz plane. So what will be the equation of a circle in yz plane is y square plus z square is equal to Q2 square. Okay. What is Q2? Q2 is a y coordinate of a point on the curve, right? Initially we are only knowing the what is the equation of a curve. What is the equation of a curve? It is in terms of x and y. So here we get y square plus z square is equal to Q2 square. Why it is a Q2 square? But because it is the radius of this circle, whatever sweeps out is a Q2. Okay, radius of this. Now let us find out what are the coordinates of a point P. Okay, what are the coordinates of point P? Q1 will be as it is, no? Because Q1 is not changing. The distance from the origin to x-axis will be same, because if this point is revolving, this distance from the origin to x-axis in the direction of x-axis will be the same. So what I can write is Q1 as it is, I can write. Okay. So there will be the change in only the second and third coordinate. Okay, that is P2 and P3. P1 is exactly equal to Q1. Okay, so this distance will be the same, no? Rather it will the point on the curve or it is a point on the surface. Okay, now let us write down what are the next two. To write down the next two, I must know what are the here. If suppose it is x square plus y square is equal to r square. So how to write down in terms of r and theta equation of a circle? How you write? It is nothing but x is nothing but r cos theta and y is nothing but r sin theta. Okay, so instead of having theta, let us assume some mu is the angle made by the point Q which travel with some distance and it will reach to a point P. So what I can write is now here R is nothing but your Q2 cos B gamma whatever it is and Q2 sin gamma with some angle gamma. Okay, so hence now we can write what are the coordinates of a point P are second coordinate is Q2 cos and the third is Q2 sin of an angle Q1 Q2 cos Q2 sin. Is there any doubt here? Yes.
No, ma'am.
No? If not, so we have found what are the points on the surface. So this point, whatever on the curve will be traveled and will give you a circle and this will be a point on the surface. As it is a point on the surface, it will have three coordinates. First coordinate will be the same because the x-axis is same. Distance from origin to x-axis is same. There will be the change in second and third. That will be verified with the help of our equation of a circle. This equation of a circle we have taken it is as a this circle is parallel to yz plane. Hence we have written it is y square plus z square is equal to q2 square. So how to write down equation of a circle in terms of r and theta? That is this is our r and this is an angle theta. So hence instead of writing for x square y square, hence we are writing for y and z. So these are y and z. Okay. So here we have found the point on the surface with the help of a point on the curve. Okay. So now how you can write down the equation of a equation of a surface g of x y z. Now as initially we have f of x y only. So what will be g of x y z? It is nothing but f of x as it is because there is no change in x. What will be y? Y will be the change. What is y? Here this q2 is nothing but your y coordinate. So what I can write is here it is nothing but y square plus z. What is a y coordinate? This y coordinate that is q2 I can write is under root of y square plus z square. So hence now equation of a surface I can write it as g of x y z is nothing but f of x y. Instead of y we are writing for under root of y square plus z square. But how you have found this under root of y square plus z square with the help of this equation of a circle. What is this equation of a circle? Y square plus z square is equal to q2 square. How you have found it? This q2 is nothing but the radius and this q2 is nothing but the y coordinate of a point on the curve. Okay, as it is a point on the curve and now we have to find out the equation of a surface. Have you understood this part? How we have written the second coordinate? G of x, y, z. So here we get the sum function which is in the combinations of x, y and z. So hence now we have found the equation of a surface or equation of an geometric object. Now just we have to verify whether that is a this is equal to 0 or not equal to 0. Any doubt up to this?
No, ma'am.
Now we have to verify whether this dg is equal to 0 or not equal to 0. Okay, so let me verify dg. What will be dg? Dou g by dou x dx plus dou g by dou y dy plus dou g by dou z dz. Okay, dou g by dou x, dou g by dou y, dou g by dou z. If all these three are equal to 0 simultaneously, so hence then only dg is equal to 0. But what do you know about this g of x y z? This is nothing but your function f, right? So instead of this, I can write it as dou f by dou x dx plus dou f by dou y dy plus dou f by dou z dz. Okay, but if I want to say that dg is equal to 0, I have to verify whether all these dou g by dou x, dou g by dou y, dou g by dou z equal to 0. All will be equal to 0 only if your function f is a constant. If f is constant, then only your derivative of a function will be 0. But as we have provided that f is a one equation of a curve. As it is an equation of a curve, it consists of two variables x and y. So obviously, dou f by dou x and dou f by dou y simultaneously will not be equal to 0. Both will not be equal to 0, which means that this dg is not equal to 0. Hence, we can say that whatever the surface of revolution we are obtaining is a surface. Okay. Should I repeat this? Let me share the screen and I will repeat this. Yes, everyone able to see this. Show that a surface obtained by rotating a curve is a surface. So what we have an equation of a curve, we have to rotate this. Yes, everyone able to see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
So now this equation of a curve, we have revolved about a x-axis. So whatever the object we are getting is a circle. If I revolve a point, if I revolve a whole curve, it will be a one. So a geometric object. Later we will verify this is a surface or not. For that, what is the radius of this circle is a q2. That is nothing but the second coordinate of a point on the curve. Okay, now this circle is a parallel to yz plane. Hence we have taken it outside. So hence what is the radius q2 cos v q2 sin v, that is in terms of sin r and theta we have to write down the equation of a circle. Now we can get what is a point on the, this is a point on the surface. If this is a point on the surface, the second coordinate I can write down with the help of this equation, y square plus z square is equal to q2 square. Okay, that is nothing but with the help of first two coordinate. Hence, we can write down the equation of a surface g of x, y, z. That is nothing but f of x, y. What is y? Y again we can write down with the help of this equation, y square plus z square is equal to q2 square. What is q2? Q2 is a y coordinate of a point on the curve, and hence now we can find out dou g by dou x, dou g by dou y, dou g by dou z. But this g is nothing but your function f. We have written g of x, y, z is equal to f. Now, but this whole will be equal to 0 only if all the partial derivatives are equal to 0. All the partial derivative will be equal to 0 only if dou f by dou x equal to 0, dou f by dou y equal to 0, dou f by dou z equal to 0. But dou f by dou x, dou f by dou y will not be equal to 0 because your f is a function of x and y. Okay, if f is a function of x and y, obviously the partial derivative, total derivative, whatever type of a derivative you will take, it will not be equal to 0, and hence we can verify whether the object is a surface or not. Okay, is there any doubt related to this? Because I am taking very slowly for this point because it is somewhat difficult to understood what is a surface, what is coordinate path, what is proper path, what are the examples of surface. Okay, hello. Is there any doubt? Hello.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Should we go for the next? Now let us have the next example is. You can see what is given to us. Show that a rectangular strip bent into the figure 8 is not a surface. Now, just now we have shown the example of a surface. Now we have to show the rectangular strip bent into the figure 8 is not a surface, right? Um, like this, suppose you assume that this is a rectangular strip. Okay, let us assume that this is a rectangular strip. Now we have to put this in the form of a figure 8. Okay, what we have to do? We have to put this in the form of a figure 8. Now you can see here how we have put this in the form of a right. First we have converted it in the form of a S, right? So what we have to do? First we have to convert it in the form of a S. Okay. So this is in the form of S now. Now again we have to do some things so that we can get this in the form of a figure 8. Okay. Take any rectangular strip and then convert it in the form of S, and then again convert it in the form of the figure 8. So here we have rectangular strip which is from minus pi to pi it is given, and 0 to here somewhere is given. Again this converted into the form of a figure 8, and we have to show that whether this is a surface or not. Okay, rather we have to show it is not a surface. For that, first we have defined a mapping x from D to E3. What is D in this case? Is this u is from minus pi to pi and v is from 0 to 1. That is this from minus pi to pi and this is from 0 to 1. So x of uv we have defined sin u, sin 2u and v. No doubt this you have to remember, because for this example for this example we can verify whether this is this x of uv is equal to function is given to us as sin u, sin 2u and v. Okay, if this is a question in the exam also, you have to remember this x of uv is equal to sin u, sin 2u and v, right? So this is what for the uh, figure 8. Okay, because we are having a one rectangular rectangle, and this rectangle we have converted in the form of a figure 8, and then we have to verify whether this is a surface or not. For that, first we will verify whether it is a 1 1 or not. So x of uv is equal to x of u1 v1 is equal to x of u2 v2. So after having this, we have to verify whether this is a 1 1 or not. Next, we have to verify whether this is a proper regular or not, and then we have to verify x inverse is a continuous or not. Okay. So let us go one by one. What we have initially. X of u is equal to, we have sin of 2u, sin u, sin 2u, and the third coordinate is v. Okay, what is x? X is a mapping from d to d3. What is d? D is provided to us as u within the minus pi to plus pi, and v is from 0 to 1. Right? And what is the equation we are having? X of uv is equals to sin u, sin 2u v. X of uv is equals to sin u, sin 2u and v. Now let us verify one by one whether it is a surface or not. For that, first we'll verify whether it is a proper patch. To be a proper patch, first it should be one word regular and inverse function is continuous. So let us verify x of u1 v1 is equals to x of u2 v2. Okay, so I have written this. So next, sin u1, sin 2u1 v1 is equals to sin u2, sin 2u2 and v2. So by coordinate wise equality, we get sin of u1 is equals to sin u2. Obviously, sin will be equal when this u1 and u2 will be equal. Then only the sin of u1 is equals to sin of u. But provided this is in the domain itself, u is lying in between minus pi to pi. Because someone may say that sin of which, suppose sin I am writing for sin 0 and even sin pi, sin 2 pi, Sin 0 is 0, sin pi is 0, sin 2 pi is 0, right? But what is domain given to us? U is lying in between minus pi to pi. Even minus pi and pi both are not included. This is simply an open interval, that is U belongs to open interval minus pi to pi. Okay, so in this interval only sin u1 is equal to sin u2 happens only for sin 0, right? Sin 0 0. Okay, because sin zeros, sin pi, sin n pi all are equal to 0, then you can verify this. So hence now you can write u1 is equal to u2, and the third coordinate v1 is equal to v2 directly. Have you understood this part now? Because in the particular domain itself, we can say sin u1 is equal to u2, then we can directly say that u1 is equal to u2. But if suppose it is closed interval, that is u belongs to closed interval minus pi to plus pi, then at that time we cannot say u1 is equal to u2. Okay. So let us go for the next one. What we have to verify whether x is a regular. How to verify mapping x is regular? Let us find out derivative of this with respect to u1. What is the derivative of sin u with respect to u? That is cos u. Next is cos of 2u 2 times. And with respect to derivative of v with respect to u is 0. Next, which is 0, 0 and 1. And if you take any 2 cross 2 determinant, the value will not be equal to 0. Okay, if you can verify this for let us have, therefore the rank of the Jacobian matrix is equal to 2. Why this so? If we can take it at least one minor of order 2. If I take this, what is the answer? 2 cos of 2u minus 0. So if I am getting at least one minor of order, not order 2 cross 2, which is not equal to 0. And hence we can say that the mapping x is a regular and 1 1. But still we have to verify the mapping is have x inverse is a continuous or not. Okay. For that, first we have to define what is x inverse. Okay. For defining x inverse, we have to find out what will be x inverse. X inverse is a mapping from E3 to D. Okay. Or rather, we can say it is from surface M to D. Okay. So that will be from x inverse of x, y, z is equals to. Okay, here we have to write down. What we know is x of uv is equals to, we know this sin u, sin 2u and v. Okay, so this is nothing but your x, this is y and this is z. So I can write what is x coordinate, y and z. Now here with the help of this only we have to define the inverse mapping. Okay, so what will be x inverse of this function? Here it will be simply u and v. So what is u and v? We can find out u and v with the help of this. Okay. So if I say x is equals to sin u, what will be u? U is equals to sin inverse of x. And here z is nothing but v. Okay. So with the help of this, have you understood this? How to find out x of u? We have written this sin u, sin 2u, v, which is nothing but xyz coordinate from this mapping x from D to E3. In E3 we will have only three variable xyz. So in this reverse way, if I am defining mapping x inverse is a mapping from M to D. So x inverse of xyz. Why it is xyz? Because M is any subset of a E3 space. So resultant it should be in D, as it is in D, hence we are writing it is u and v. Now how to find out this u and v? With the help of a given mapping. So x is equal to sin u, hence we can get u is equals to sin inverse of x. And what is v? V is nothing but z. Have you understood this part, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
So hence we get x inverse of xyz is equal to sin inverse of x hence into z. Now no doubt this is a continuous, but we have to verify whether sin inverse of x is a continuous function. Because the inverse x inverse is continuous only if its coordinate functions are continuous. No doubt z is a continuous, but what about sin inverse of x? Okay, whether this sin inverse of x is a continuous function in the provided domain. आहे का continuous? So yes, whether sine inverse of x is a continuous function. Yes. Can anyone tell me the answer whether sine inverse of x is a continuous or not? Because this is not the part of differential geometry, you have already studied how to find out whether the function is continuous or not. Should I give you this as a homework where you have to verify whether sine inverse of x is a continuous or not in the provided domain? Yes, anyone have an answer? You can answer this right now, or it will be homework for you. You have to verify whether the sine inverse is a continuous or not. First, if you want to verify, you must know what is a graph of sine inverse, tan inverse, cot inverse. This is homework for today. You have to write down the graph of sine, cos, tan, cot, sec, cosec, all the trigonometric functions, as well as the graph of inverse function, sine inverse, cos inverse, tan inverse, cot inverse. And then if you come to know the graph, if you know the graph, you can directly say that it is a continuous or not. Okay, up to now assume that the sine inverse of x is not a continuous function in the domain, and hence therefore the surface of the figure 8 is not a geometric object in the form of figure 8 is not a surface. Okay. If you are having any doubt related to this lecture except the homework, you can ask. Hello. Yes. I hope no one is responding. Hello. Okay, let me end the lecture today. This is a homework for you. You have to write graph of sine, cos, function as well as the inverse function, and you have to say, you have to give me an answer whether sine inverse is a continuous function in the provided domain. Okay. Thank you. Let us end the lecture. You can left now.
Ma'am. Hello.